This is the first coming screen whenever you create a web API using .NET in Visual Studio. So in the right hand side you will see one folder will be there, that will be the project name, and when you click on it you will see the other folders which are under the project. There can be multiple projects in one application, so in my case there is one project that is called as Employee Pro. So one by one, just today we are going to take the project overview. So the first here is the project name. The next will be the dependencies. That means what are the different dependencies which will be in the project. There is one thing called as launch settings.json. When you click on it, you will see all the profiles by which you can run your application, whether it's HTTPS or HTTP or any other profile over there. So in my case I'm going with HTTPS, and in your system the local host can be different, so it will be totally different. In my case the local host is this, so in my application it will be running on the local host this. So this is my application URL. Whenever I click on it and I just execute the application, I'll get the link over there. So in your case it will be totally different. So this is the application, the launch setting.json. JSON is JavaScript object notation format, which is in this format. So it will show you all the profiles which are there for execution. You can click for here for the different profiles you can work on. So if you click on it, you will execute the application. Moving to the next, there is a controller folder for it. So for example, you have to make an web API, and in web API there will be different endpoints. By default it is giving me the weather forecast controller. That means it is inbuilt. We need not to create it. If you want to create any other controller, then you have to right click on the controller and then you will create. We will see in the coming lectures. So when I click on this weather forecast, I'll get a file which is holding the all details related to the weather API. See, all the things are there. So next is app setting.json. App setting.json is a file which will use for whenever you have to connect with the database like MySQL or SQL Server. So you will use the connection string here. So this is the main thing about apps, that means setting.json. Now the next thing which you are getting in your .NET 8 framework, which is a new in this case, that will be employeepro.http, and you will get the endpoints here. If you want to create, you can create it. So if you this is a endpoint, that is a get endpoint. If you want to, for example, execute this endpoint, you just click on this and you will see the execution of it. So this is the execution of get endpoint, and after some time we will be able to see a screen, and that will run the Swagger and all. So this is my weather forecast. So Employee Pro I have not created yet, so I'm not getting anything here, but I'm getting the get option with it. I can click on the get, I can try it out, or I can execute this with the help of this, and I'll get the data which is there in the web API. That's clear? Okay. So now when I move to the application again, which is there in the Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, you can work on Visual Studio Code as we have already worked with them. So this is my overview of the employeepro.http. So you can generate this endpoint also with the help of view. You click on the view, you click on the other windows, and there is a one thing called as Endpoint Explorer. You just click on it, and when you click on it, you will get the link like this. Just drag it out here, just click on this project name, just click on whatever you want to. For example, in my case I have not created any employee data. Now I have weather API. So if I just click on it and if I just right click on that, I can generate a request from this, but in my case it's already there, so we need not to generate it from this position. So I'll delete the link again. So if you can send the request to check from this position whether my API is working or not, just click on this send request. Within few seconds you will be able to see, so it will show you the status 200. Okay, that means your state, you have generated a request and it is gone to the server and it is automatically giving you the data from that API. See, this is the data which is given by that API. So in this way you can use the given API over there. So this is the employee pro.htp. When I click on the program.cs, what does it mean? Program.cs is the thing which is the actual driver code of the whole web API. All the applications will be run from this part, and this is the where we are going to execute the whatever we have created in the controller, or we have created in the dependencies or in anything. So that they have to be, this is a main file by which we can use this, and everything which will be controlled by the program.cs. That means you can say in a nutshell, or for a non-IT students, whenever you have to code from, you can code anywhere, but the starting point will be always from the program.cs. So this is all about the, you can say, the all about which we should know about the project overview in .NET Frame 8 or any other version which is in Visual Studio for creating of a web API. One more thing I want to tell you, whenever you double click on this employee pro, which is a project name, you will get this type of file over there. So it will show you the .NET 8 which you are going with, whether in my case it's .NET 8, so in your case it can be different. So, and the packages which you are going to install, currently no packages installed. Whenever we work with MySQL later in the next session, we will see how we are going to install packages in it. So whenever I install some packages for MySQL or SQL Server, so I after installation of them, I will get the all packages over here, right? So this is for your current what the version is, and your packages which you are going to install for the .NET with SQL Server connection or any other database. Okay, so that's it for all how you can execute and what is a project overview of the .NET framework, and you can say how web API overview will be there. So once your overview is clear, once your all the things is clear, why this, why properties are there, why launch setting is there, why app setting is there, why program.cs is there, then everything will be clear and you will be able to figure it out how the next we are going to create our own web API. So in the next session, in the next class, we are creating a web API of our own, as we have given the name for the project for employee, that will be related to the employee, and we will see how we can make the API like the weather API is there inbuilt. We will create our own API and then we will connect it to the SQL. So if you really that's it for today. If you really like this video, share it, subscribe it, and like this. I'll meet you in next video. Thank you so much for watching.